So I'm gonna call this one like a snack and a snack and rant, I suppose. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about, just because I feel like it's kind of like a nuanced topic also. Thank you. Yeah, so I want to talk for a minute about being a Black content creator and mental health. I think that what I've seen this year is that in the Black community, there's kind of like this monkey see, monkey do sort of situation where there's not really much. I'm not gonna say all of it, because like in terms of those little like TikTok dances and stuff, it really feels like a lot of people are doing that. But if you think about maybe like long form content, sharing ideas, alternative lifestyles, stuff like that, really unpacking mental health and wellness. Feels like a lot of that is taboo in this community, and I saw a post earlier today that made me pretty sad. So there's a content creator that I follow, Kai Foster, who talked about she's deleting all her social media, and she's doing it for her mental health. And I understand that. There's a certain level of like vulnerability that you put yourself under, and you make yourself vulnerable when you open yourself up to creating content that is true to your life, right? And in her case, I think it's probably way different from what other people have seen. From a Black content creator in the past. And I think it's great that some people are opening up to getting therapy for the first time. I think that's really great. But I also think we have to acknowledge the like sheer amount of trauma that's present in this community. And I also want to just really highlight here the sort of like almost like separateness that some people seem to do and feel when they see something that is like different. So I've seen this a lot, where people will say like, oh, look at that girl over there saying all these things, putting her business out in the street, shit like that, right? And they're like, I would never do that. I don't air my dirty laundry. I don't do stuff like that, right? And they're trying to like up themselves while like downing the person who decided to be vulnerable on a platform like YouTube. Now, I feel like we can speak pretty honestly and acknowledge that like a lot of people don't have access to consistent therapy that they need. A lot of people don't have access to simply like a lot of the resources that they need. So to have content creators like Kai, who do have access to, you know, healthcare and mental health services, and has been able to like process some of the stuff that she's been through in her own life herself, and then just be willing to talk about it on screen and share it with other people, and to have other people almost like bully her off the platform. It, for one, it shows how toxic social media spaces can be, but also it just really makes me weary because how else are we going to get the representation that we need amongst black, brown people in terms of like unpacking complex topics? Because like, not even to be funny, but like a lot of the content that I see coming out, like I found one channel that was like talking about all of the popular like Indian commentary channels. Some of them were just, honestly, they were just kind of toxic. It was talking about a lot of like hyper masculinity type of shit that was just like funny in that community. Like everyone was like laughing about it, and it was just like, damn, like this is where you guys are going with this. And it had like a lot of views, and so it was just like, wow, I guess this is where we are. I guess on a brighter note, we have content creators like Adiola Ofune, I believe that's her name, but she makes a lot of content that's around news media and news covering Africa, specifically Nigeria, because that's where she's from. And I just feel like it's not enough. And to lose Kai's voice just makes me feel really sad. Because on one hand, I think it's useful to take a social media break. For a while, I didn't have any social media at all. And then what I realized is that like I was living my life in all these ways that were without regard to social media, but I was still out in society where there were other people who were consuming social media as like their primary form of connection to people and spaces. So it was almost like to them, my reality did not exist because they had never seen it on social media. Which is another reason why I actually don't know if it's safe for me to stop using social media. Because like, I do exist in this form, in this way, with social media or without it. And I don't think there's another person or group who's gonna come and like represent this ideal of me and my politics and my philosophy and my lifestyle in a way that like I do. Like it's only me, you know? This is another reason why I've continued to like write about my experiences and like bring my experiences to life and to screen and try to be like as honest as I can about them. But it just feels very like against the tide, against the wave, maybe wrong in a sense. Like, I know that my content is not relatable for a lot of people. Like, I know that. But I also know that my content is relatable for me. And like, I can't stop being me just because other people don't understand. I don't know if that actually makes sense. Like, I know it makes sense to me. I don't think that it makes sense to others. Maybe that is some work that I could do to try to bring my perspective to life, to screen, to try to make it palatable for others. Because if there's someone who cares to understand my perspective, I do want to like open the door and enable them to kind of grasp it. But And I was talking about this yesterday with a friend. Like, I just don't feel like I see eye to eye with a lot of the people, especially like hyper religious people out in society, simply because I feel like they're basing their ethics and the morality upon some religious philosophy when they are innately human. And why is it that your humanity is not enough to dictate like your ethics in modern society, especially when like most of the people who are here have been like forced to go to primary and secondary school. So like, kind of, what some of the people in society are like. It might be wise to go out and meet new people to understand what other people in society are like, but also like like you have some experiences because like you've lived this far, and that could be enough to propel you to something more, something new. you know it might be kind of weird. I don't know.